So I've been putting off making this video and other videos like it for the last year and change now. And I've only recently come to realize why that is. And I think there are two major reasons as to why. The first reason is I was lacking conviction. When I first made this channel, I had a lot of energy. I still have a good degree of energy, but I lacked the conviction, meaning I lacked really a long-term vision. To be honest with you, I still don't have too much of a long-term vision. I know that I know that I am going to continue to be consistent and consistently upload videos regardless of the quality. But the other thing I've realized is that, and this goes into the second reason, is that I was not comfortable with being, with like floating, right? I was not comfortable with the uncertain. Any endeavor that you want to take on, especially when you're building what you consider to be your dream, when you're building something that you really care about, involves a lot of uncertainty. You don't have all the answers. You're not going to have all the answers. And, you know, the reality is, if you want to be successful at anything, you kind of need to, absent of having all the answers, but even if you do have all the answers, it requires you to just keep showing up and be consistent. And, intellectually, you know this, right? Like intellectually, you know that you have to be consistent in anything to get good. Nothing happens overnight. But you're confronted with that situation pretty much on a daily basis, right? Like, there is no perfect life, there is no perfect lifestyle, and things happen. With all that being said, I was recently in a sales gig. I had a sales job, not for a very long time. It was a door-to-door sales gig, and it's taught me a lot about showing up. It's taught me a lot about consistency. I'm no longer there, but in the short time that I was there, I feel like I learned. I feel like I grew as a person. I feel like I became somebody different. And if you know anything about door-to-door sales, it's an incredibly daunting thing. It forces you to be somebody. You have to become if you're not already made for it, you have to become a new person. And I feel like I had to become a new person just to make any kind of sense. I got a few sales at the job, but I proved to myself that I could do the job. But it required being very, very uncomfortable. And the thing that helped ease the job, it was never easy, but the thing that helped make it easy was just, kind of just forcing myself to be in the situation, forcing myself to just show up, knock on the next door after being told no, after being told to F off or whatever, after being disrespected. The number one reason why people quit in door-to-door sales, it's not the sales part. The sales part's the easy part. It's the rejection. It's being told, it's having the door slammed in your face. I think most people can handle being told no. It's how you're told no, and you're told no very aggressively in a job like that. This is not a video about door-to-door sales. I'm just making the point that in order to have success, like, it doesn't matter how you feel. You have to just show up and you have to just do the thing, and you have to do it imperfect. A lot of people probably aren't even going to see this video, but it doesn't really matter, right? It's about the aggregate. And what I learned from door-to-door sales is it really is about the aggregate. It's not about how many people necessarily tell you no. It's about, well, okay, how do you handle the next interaction? And what I've learned is, and also too, I had to put a lot of energy into the job. I had to put a lot of energy into becoming the new person. And quite frankly, that was energy I probably could have spent building my dream, right? Or building whatever semblance of whatever it is I want to do on here. I still, I'm still making designs, right? I actually recently got paid for a commission. Commissions are open, by the way. Posters, brand identity, all that stuff. Just a little quick plug. But, I recently got paid for that, and that was the best feeling in the world. So now I just need to figure out a way to kind of just replicate that over and over again. I need to build a system to be able to replicate that. But the reality is, building a system requires a ton of work. It requires dialing in. It requires being consistent. And, you know, a lot of us, we show up consistently for the stuff that we hate, whether it's our job, whether it's like, I don't know, a relationship or something, right? We show up for the things that we, even though we really don't want to show up, right? Like, I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 people, if they were told you never have to go back to your job again and you get to go do whatever you want for the rest of your life, I'm pretty sure that's a deal they would take, assuming that the job is not something that, you know, they already want to do. But they show up anyway because they have to, right? Or at least they feel like they have to. They feel like they have to show up. In reality, you don't have to do anything that you don't really want to do. But, you know, it's just easier to show up than it is to deal with the uncertainty. And that is, you know, you're not guaranteed, just because you're dealing in uncertainty, just because you keep moving forward, you're not guaranteed success. But, you know, that's a gamble that you just have to take, right? Especially someone like me. You know, I'm never going to be satisfied in a role where I'm at a desk or where I'm answering to somebody, or I have to do team building exercises, or, you know, ridiculous shit like that. I'm never gonna do well in a corporate environment. I'm always gonna want to just do my own thing and make money in my own way. And, you know, the way that I want to make money is, quite frankly, just building cool shit. Right? I just want to make cool designs. I want to write stuff, and I already do that to a degree. But I just have to get it better. I have to systematize it. And I also have to build it in public, which is the point of this video. It's almost like a video diary, you know? I'm still doing illustration stuff. I'm still, you know, learning the fundamentals of that. You know, I'm not nearly where I probably should be, because considering it's been a year. But, you know, I've only recently got to become consistent again. And I have to systematize everything again, or for the first time. And that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. Because I've finally realized that I just have to continue. I finally physically understand. Before I intellectually understood, but now I physically understand that I have no choice but to continue to do the things that I want to do, regardless of how hard it gets, right? We all got debt. We all have things. We all have bills to pay. You know, I'm in debt. I have a car note, you know. Obviously, I'll still need to get some kind of job. But I know now that I need a job where I don't have to think. I need a job where I can save all my energy and become, you know, and use all my energy for the creative pursuits, for the stuff that I really want to build, the stuff that I, you know, quite frankly, am meant to be building. But it takes time, and it takes consistency. And, you know, that is where we are right now, and it is what it is. I'm excited to continue, and, you know, expect more videos in the future. All right, guys, take care.